After serving 4 years in high security federal prisons in Dublin, California, and Waseca, Minnesota, I was transferred to the Victorville, California prison camp to serve the remaining 7 months of my prison sentence. And I was excited because I loved the sun. I left in January, and when I got there, I was happy. And the best part was that they had fruit and vegetables on the compound. And that wasn't something that I was used to. And I didn't really understand why the food was so much better, but I found out there were several prisons on that compound. There was the penitentiary, which was super high security, like gun towers. It looks like a prison vault. There were 2 FCI men's prisons, which are behind a fence. And then there was the camp. We were low security, so literally we could have walked off the compound. Now, if we walked off the compound, we're going to get a 5-year prison sentence, so most people don't walk off the compound. But because of our security level, we ran like the warehouse, which is why we had all the fruit and vegetables on the compound, because whoever runs a warehouse brings the food back to the compound. I thought, oh, I'm going to get an easy job. I'm just going to go work at the officer station and clean the officer station at the pen. I'll be a janitor. No, that's not how that worked. Found out that whenever the men got in a fight and they locked down the prison, those of us that worked at the penitentiary had to go into the kitchen and prepare meals for the whole compound, like 4,000 inmates, and we were hopping. Like, I've never worked so hard in my life. We had to prepare breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and so I would come home exhausted at the end of the day. What I'm grateful for is by the end of my prison sentence, I felt really good about myself. I had spent years leading up to going to prison just feeling so burdened and weighed down because of the lack of integrity that I had and just living in fear. And by the end of my prison sentence, I felt really good. I felt like I was living a life of integrity. And I learned in prison that my superpower is my response. I get to decide how I will respond to what happens to me. But they don't get to decide the ending. I do, by the way I respond to what happens. And I'm grateful that I learned that. At this point in my life, I have uncomfortable emotions. There's times where I feel anxiety. But what I know is that I live my life based on my decisions, not my emotions. I can walk through discomfort because I've already decided that I'm going to have an amazing ending.